Hey, Curious Connerys. Dylan here. We just want to give you a heads up that the following program contains conversation relating to topics that may or may not include physical and sexual assault and self-harm and mistreatment of different cultures. We are in no way condoning these things. But given that Sean Connery has acted in films going back many years, they've tended to come up. To spin a phrase from Disney, many of these films include negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures that were certainly wrong then and are definitely wrong now. But rather than not discuss this content, we'd like to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and create conversation for a richer future. Stay curious, folks. And now, on to our show.
In the coach.
Connery Curious! Saga! Last Crusade! You'll live twice! And the Anderson tapes! Murder on the Orient Express!
You never know what the wheel is going to spin next.
Barney and a woman of straw! And a wounded man in Africa! We are curious of the filmography of Sir Sean Connery.
Oh, my friend.
Woo-wee!
Happy day to you.
Happy day. Happy Connery Day to you, my friend.
Happy Connery Day to you. Should we tell the people what day we record this on?
Why not? It'll
It's a Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Thursday
Day.
Thursday.
And now I'm thirsty. I'm going to have a sip of my tea.
There you go.
How you doing today, Mario?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm excited. Always a pleasure to be here with you. Excited for the listeners. Excited to see you guys here, listening to us, banter.
I'm excited to see your ears perk up.
Yeah.
Is my audio recording clearly? Clearly? I think so, yes.
Clearly, it's clearly.
Coming through clearly for you?
Coming through clear.
Excellent. Oh. Excellent. There we go. Much clearer now.
All right. So, man, we are on... What episode is this for us now? I keep losing count.
Oh, Mario, this is episode 007.
Oh, that's right. 007.
Yes, forgive me. I feel like we haven't introduced this properly. Welcome to the Connery Curious podcast, folks. Did we say that already?
I think, did we? I don't know.
Did we? Okay. Well, he's Mario Lima.
And he's Dylan Titus.
Welcome to the Connery Curious podcast, folks. I'm so excited.
I feel giddy. Like, man, we're talking 1968's Shalako.
Shalako. And forgive me, last week I pronounced it Shalako. Forgive me. It's Shalako.
Shalako. It's funny because this. I feel like if you haven't watched this movie yet, listeners, play a drinking game. Every time the word Shalako is said, take a drink because you're gonna get fucked up in this movie. Because I kept forgetting.
Or drink a lot of water. You'll be quite hydrated.
Yeah, you're gonna be very.
That's his name, so you'd expect it to be said a lot.
Yeah, but it's like Shalako.
Well, everyone knows him. And, well, we'll get more into that, but first, let's. If this is your first episode of the Connery Curious podcast, folks, here's the setup. Mario and I, each week we spin our wheel of curiosities, which presents us with another of the about 75-ish films in the filmography of Sir Sean Connery, one of the great actors of history, of cinema history. And we got into him from our mutual love of James Bond and our desire to see what else was in his filmography. And this is episode 007, Mario. This is our 7th film, Shalako.
Shalako, man. Yeah, we've been so far on a very interesting journey. A lot of, some similarities, but a couple of different, styles. We went to a lot of medieval stuff. We've gone into some more adventurous stuff, but now we're going into the Wild West. I never thought I would see
first Western.
Yeah, I never thought he would be in a Western. This is super interesting and intense, and we're going to talk about it more, but it's really cool, man. I think I had a pretty good time watching this.
Same. I had a very good time watching this movie.
Thank goodness, because we've been having some stinkers lately.
Yes, and I think so. Looking, you said we haven't done a Western yet. I'm just looking at the ones we've done so far. So to recap, our first episode 1 through 6 is 1, The Man Who Would Be King, 2, First Night, 3, Sword of the Valiant, 4, The Avengers from 1998, 5, Action of the Tiger, and 6, Cuba.
Cuba.
Now, I think our closest to a Western thus far is probably Action of the Tiger. It's not a Western, but I think that's the closest. And I think Action of the Tiger, I think this film, Shalako, felt very similar to Action of the Tiger.
Well,
it was a better version of Action of the Tiger. for me.
Well, the only difference is I feel like Shalako is more of a Connery film. Because
Yes.
we got no Connery in that, which we were not expecting.
I think like 10 minutes, and he wasn't pleasant.
Yeah, so in this one, it was a little more pleasant. There was a couple of moments where I was like, "Whoa, no, Sean, don't do it," and then he didn't do it.
I know.
Right?
Well,
we'll
they
get to
towed
that,
the
but, like,
line, and they didn't.
ooh, They were like so close. That was kind of like, "Come on, don't do it to me again, Sean." And then
I'm really glad they didn't as well.
yeah, we got some.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, let's just get into it, man. Let's talk. We got a lot to talk about here. 2-hour flick.
Yes. Is your audio recording all right?
Yeah, I believe so. It is. Why is
Okay.
yours?
Nope, just making sure. It is. Well, yes, it is. Mine is recording. I'm just making sure. I'm just double checking everything before I go over to the Wikipedia page.
Let me do
And
the
focus on that.
Davy Jones check for the mic. Ready? Go. Look what you've done to me. Me and my whole world. Girl, you've brought the sun to me. With your smile, you did it, girl. I'm telling you, girl. Ba-da-da-da. You've brought the sun to me. Me and my whole world. Girl, you've brought the Shalako to me. All right, that's good. I think the mic's working. Thank you.
Wow, I've never been serenaded by Mario like that before in the 10 years that we've known each other. Oh,
I love Davy
that made me
Jones.
so happy.
I love Davy Jones.
Of the Monkees, yes?
Yes. Do you know Davy
Okay.
Jones was on SpongeBob once?
Yes.
That was such an interesting, because I remember it was like my little cousin was watching it one time. I was at my grandmother's house, and I happened to be walking by the TV, and I'm like, oh, SpongeBob's on. And then it's an episode with the Flying Dutchman, and then he gets sent to Davy Jones' locker.
Yes, and it's just him on a
And
green
it's Davy
screen.
Jones. He's like, Daydream Believer and the Homecoming Queen. I was like, who's going to understand this reference but like me, you know? And I thought that was so
And
cool.
our parents. Yeah, I remember that episode.
Insane.
For a split
Anyways,
second, I thought you were going to do your Bill Nye impression.
Bill Nye impression? I think I have Bill Nye.
Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Oh, that one.
And then you serenaded me with a song, which is far better. I'll take that. And you know, to be honest, I was having a rough morning, and I reached out to Mario. And this may not even be the first time I've said this on the podcast, but I reached out and said, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this podcast today. I'm having a rough morning, and I might not be in any kind of mood to talk. And you know what? How could I turn this down? It's the highlight of my week. And Mario sang to me, and I would have missed out on that. So thank you, Mario.
What
It's
I'm here
always-
for.
Always a blast.
Hell yes. So what do you think, man? Shall we dive into
Shalako? Shalako we?
Shalako?
Yeah.
Shall we
So
go Shalako?
shall we go Shalako?
I think we shall.
Shall I just take it from the Wikipedia?
Let's hit the Wikipedia. Let's hit the plot of the film.
And folks, I know that Wikipedia is not the source of all knowledge. We're just going in general terms. We really are. We're not. But quick aside. I'm sorry. Our podcast is usually dotted with lacks of research. But I've started reading this book by Andrew Yule, Now, two of young Thomas Sean Connery's nicknames in his youth were Titch and Big Tam. So those make me very happy.
Big
And
Tam.
then Big Tam. So we're gonna welcome to Big Tam Curious. Welcome to Titch Curious.
Why Big Tam? Did they explain it? Like, why Tam?
I'm guessing maybe just they pronounce Tommy maybe like as a Tammy or Tammy. Hey, Tommy. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. I'm 100%
Big
wrong. Probably.
Tam.
And then another paragraph I wanted to read here, which I think we've noted that we enjoy hearing Sean Connery sing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes us happy when he sings in films.
Yeah, I'm excited for the
Darby O'Gill.
Darby O'Gill. Yeah, that's the big singing number. I'm dying to get to that one.
Well, turns out Tommy was designated a droner in music class and excluded from singing lessons as tone deaf, unable to sing a note, while others were practicing their vocal calisthenics. He was confined to his desk with a book. Anyway. After school hours, he was as wild as any, clambering up the hill alongside Brentsfield with his four-wheel guider, a wooden board with a perilous rope-pulled steering mechanism, then racing across the main road, dodging tram cars with reckless madcap abandon. So, what to take away from there is Connery couldn't sing, and as a result was reckless. Well, not as a result of not being able to sing, but I just thought it was worth mentioning that, you know, we enjoy it when he sings in these films, and apparently his teachers did not.
Well, look where he ended up.
Exactly.
He got to be James frickin' Bond, and he got to wear a bear suit at one point. He did
the most important thing.
He did just fine.
That was his like getting even with Roger Moore for wearing a gorilla suit.
Yep.
All right, let's get into it.
I hope I
Folks,
get my bear outfit moment, where I got done with music and I want my bear outfit moment, where like, look at me now.
Well, maybe we should go as those bears for Halloween. Maybe that can be our Halloween costume.
I did think. Side note. When we do a Halloween episode of this, we can cut this out if we need to.
No.
But I think we should dress up as different Connery characters.
I'm totally down with
like
that.
I could see you pulling off a Green Knight because you have the hair. And
who's gonna deal me my blow?
who's
Seriously,
gonna deal
guys,
me my
I need
blow?
a new blow dealer.
Someone deal me my blow, and then I think I would go for like Henry Jones.
That'd be a good. You pull that off very well.
Like just dye my hair a little more white. I mean, it's not white. I'm getting a couple gray hairs. By the time we get to that episode, I'm sure I'll have more gray hairs.
Dye it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I'll get the outfit, get the round glasses, and I'll have a little briefcase.
Especially if we can do some kind of live event on Halloween.
Oh,
people
yes.
dress up as Connery characters.
Everybody do yes, that'd be so much fun.
Man.
But anyways, let's get to this.
Well, let's talk about a character that one might dress up as. Shalako.
Shalako
is a 1968 British German-American Western film directed by Edward Dmytryk and starring Sean Connery and Bridgette Bardot, shot at Shepperton Studios near London, with sets designed by the art director Herbert Smith. Location shooting took place in Almeria in southern Spain. All right. Shall we just get into the plot?
Yeah, well, first, for cast, did we talk about the fact that Honor Blackman was in this last week?
I think we did. I think we brought that up.
Because I forgot.
Yes, because there was a note there. As we in the intro said, there's going to be some talk of less than pleasant things, things And one of the things we brought up last week is that one of the scenes cut when the film is shown on television is the rape of Honor Blackman's character.
Mm,
So yes, we definitely brought up that she was in this film.
that's right.
So yes, and we'll get into the cast because I loved this cast.
Yeah, it was insane.
Do we really have anything much to say before we get into the plot, or do we want to just get into a spoiler-filled pool?
I think let's jump in the pool.
Let's dive in. Okay.
I didn't know there was a pool down there.
Okay. It is based on a 1962 novel of the same name by Louis L'Amour. L'Amour? It is the first in a trilogy of L'Amour adaptations from Ewan Lloyd. I'd be interested to watch the other two. All right, the plot. In 1890 in New Mexico, frontier adventurer Bosky Fulton, played by Stephen Boyd, and his men lead a hunting party of European aristocrats and their servants, along with a retired American politician and his wife, into Apache territory. When a French countess, Irina Lazar, played by Bridgette Bardot, wanders off, she is attacked by Apache warriors on horseback. She is rescued by Shalako. I'm still tempted to pronounce it wrong. Shalako, played by Sean Connery, a former U.S. cavalry officer with a personal interest in keeping non-Indians off of Indian land. While on the way to returning her to the hunting party, they are surrounded by Apaches. They both promise the Apache chief they will get the outsiders off the land. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. They both promise the Apache chief that they will get the outsiders off the land. Excuse me. The chief agrees, but his son, Chato, played by Woody Strode, tells Shalako he intends to kill him in battle. Shalako urges the leader of the hunting party, Friedrich von Hallstatt, played by Peter Van Eyck,
I believe.
Yes. To leave, but he refuses, and the two men soon despise each other. Shalako rides off to get the army to escort the party off Apache land, but the Apaches attack and would overrun the party, but for a smoke signal ruse of Shalako from some distance away. The old flame trick. The devious Fulton takes advantage of the lull in the fighting. He and his men take the hunting party's main stagecoach, plus all the weapons and supplies, leaving the hunting party at the mercy of the Apaches. Lady Julia Daggett, Honor Blackman, seeing the hopeless situation of the party, decides to leave her husband, the pathetic Sir Charles Daggett, played by Jack Hawkins, and go along as Fulton's lover. She and Fulton had previously teased each other in a sexually fraught manner.
The old hay trick.
Wait, what?
Well, that was in my notes where I said Pussy Galore falls for the hay trick again, because it was literally the same scene.
Yes. Oh
as
my
Goldfinger.
gosh.
I was like,
we'll get more into that as we go. Oh yes, you are correct. Shalako returns to the stranded hunting party, which is re-equipped with weapons and supplies he had previously advised them to hide in reserve. He hopes to lead them on foot to a plateau where they will be temporarily safe. Shalako and von Hallstatt continue to feud, but over time their feelings evolve to mutual respect. The Apaches attack the stagecoach, killing all Fulton's men as well as Lady Julia. Fulton, having watched her killing, joins up with the hunting party. After they rebuff an initial Apache attack, the humiliated Sir Charles challenges Fulton and they fatally shoot each other. Chato and some other Apache warriors come up behind the Europeans, catching them by surprise. Chato challenges Shalako to a one-on-one fight with spears. Chato loses and is about to be killed when his father, the Apache chief, intervenes. He gives safe passage to Shalako and the others in return for his son's life. Chato storms off, feeling disgraced. With the surviving members of the party safe, Shalako rides off into the western landscape, accompanied by Countess Irina. I didn't know that he rode off in the landscape accompanied by Countess Irina. Did you? Did you know that?
I just saw like a group of all of them, so I was just kind of like, oh,
and it was maybe from like a mile away.
Yeah, like you had that like slow pan up shot, and you kind of see them in the distance. I'm like, okay, and then boom, the end. That's how the movie ended.
Yeah, so let's work from there, I guess. Well, maybe not work entirely backwards, but that's actually where I want to start because, man, that ending, there is no real ending to the characters.
Yeah,
It's just the horses go off and the end.
Yeah. It was like, I was like, I'll look for a little more of a thing there because I don't know, like there's the whole thing with him and Arena where it's like we're waiting for that. Like, I mean, they had their big kiss finally and their weird teasing and all that, but I was like waiting for something like the whole tease of like, you know, do you want to get married and all that when they first kind of meet when they're in the barn talking, and I was like, you think they would end with like a wedding or something else, you know,
or like some epic shot of them riding off together.
Yeah.
Something. We don't need finality, but just to see the two of them together riding off and to be able to visually identify that it's those two characters would have gone a long way.
They should have just ended
as
it with,
as opposed to the camera, which went a long way away.
They should have just ended it with Shalako will return in.
Dude, that would be amazing.
Diamonds Are Forever. Well, no. What's the next Bond movie after this?
68. So Majesties.
Oh, damn. So shit. Yeah, he would return in Diamonds Are Forever.
Yep, he really would.
Shit.
So this is his first film post Bond. This is his first. 1967, You Only Live Twice, and then he directs The Bowler and the Bonnet, and then this is his first film after that.
Let's talk a little bit about Sean. Looks pretty good.
He looks damn good in this movie.
I think one of the things I was really like, I think you were kind of counting on it too. It was how was he going to talk, because the first like 10 minutes of the movie we see him and there's no dialogue, and the first thing he says is like shoot him or something like that.
Yeah,
and
it's just his voice.
It's just his voice, but like you could see he's attempting an American accent at times.
I don't think he's attempting. I just think he's not. I just think he's not leaning too much into the way he already. You know what I mean? I think he's like lightening it down a bit, but he's not really adjusting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just like it sounded like Connery, but like something about it, just like the way he pronounced it. Like when he calls the Baron a stupid son of a bitch when he's laying on the haystack, I was like, that's something I never like. It sounded very weird coming out of his mouth.
We're to hunt wild sheep tomorrow.
Baron, I figured you for stubborn. But you're something else. You, sir, are one stupid son of a bitch.
That was good. There was a lot of good moments. His so the S's were not H'd in this.
The only S's that were H were in name Shalako.
But yeah, his voice, it's pretty much just his natural speaking voice.
Yeah.
Just kind of a little bit softer than you normally used to hearing it.
Not in terms of like
speaking softly. It's just kind of the edges are rounded off a bit.
Yeah, which bumps me out because I was hoping to like see a little bit more range from him watching these movies, and you know, it's from what we've seen so far. We've seen later Connery and early Connery, and it's all pretty basic in his voice, so I'm kind of bummed out that we're not really going to get any, like, the only time I've ever heard him do an accent is like in Diamonds when he says, you know, I speak English.
Oh yeah.
Who is your floor, you know? And that's the only time we've ever heard him do like a different voice, so it's like kind of a bummer that he's just like won't attempt other accents that we know of yet.
Yeah, we will find out.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but my brain is going back to it, and it keeps going like, Dylan, you don't think he looked that great in this movie? He didn't look that great in this movie. He looked good. He was handsome, but like on the scale of handsome Connerys, I don't think he looked that handsome in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely went for. It definitely looks more rugged and definitely interesting. Never seen his hair this long. It's not like super long.
He's got very long hair for him.
And the sideburns.
It's not Sword of the Valiant long.
Oh, yeah.
But it's shaggy. It's Beatles-esque.
Yeah, and it's very like watching this movie made me want to play Red Dead Redemption like really bad
Dude,
because
same.
it's just
Same.
the way he looks was like it was super cool. But yeah, it's like so he's like yeah, he's a little dirty. We didn't see any. I don't think he's shirtless in this movie at all. I don't think. But he looks like he's in the same shape he was in You Only Live Twice.
He never changes outfits in this film.
Yeah, he's the same outfit, same thing going on there. So like, yeah. So I mean, I think he doesn't look terrible, but yeah, he's like he's a little rugged. Like he looks like a damn cowboy. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's a good look, but yeah, he looks a little less. I think he looks intentionally a little bit less handsome. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, maybe it's like,
But-
again, it's the first film after Bond, so maybe he's like, hey, I'm sick of wearing tuxedos. I get to be a little more comfortable. Yeah, I'm wearing like chaps, but like I get to let my hair grow out a little more because you think he has to freaking have his hair combed the way he did for so many years.
And it takes place in 1880, so maybe he's going like, yeah, this character hasn't bathed in a long time, and he's gonna look like shit.
Precisely.
Alrighty, shall we get into our notes?
Let's do it. I don't have too many notes because I was like really there wasn't a ton of like noteworthy moments for me. There's a few, but let's start off with you.
I took a page of notes.
Okay.
Just
And
things
about
I
half.
wanted to talk about, and I took some screenshots of some things I wanted to talk about that were quicker to do that than write. So let's talk about, this is our first film with a theme song.
Yes.
Shalako, Shalako, he rode wild country down New Mexico, born on the wind to follow the sun, for death with a knife would gamble his life to own a woman.
Shalako.
I liked that theme song.
Yeah, that was super. It was just very reminiscent of any kind of Western. I'm thinking like, what's the song I sing in Blues Brothers? Rawhide. It reminded me of
Yes.
Rawhide,
Do you know what I kept thinking of?
What's that?
He rode a blazing saddle, a torch to light Shalako. He rode a blazing Shalako.
Yeah, it was a classic Western because, like, I don't know how many Westerns you've watched in the past, but I know,
Not a lot, but enough.
like, I
Enjoys
watch
the
my,
tropes.
I watch my, your Clint Eastwood stuff, and all that. So it's like, yeah, it was cool to, it's like, you would never think Connery would be in one. It's so
but
interesting.
I hope he's in another.
Yeah, me too. Because this was really fun. Like I was like excited. They're so simple and fun, and there's horses and freaking revolvers and lassos.
This was
It's
a very
so cool.
straightforward plot.
Yeah. Very
I mean,
simple.
there are details to it that are not straightforward, but the plot itself is super straightforward. Get these people out of a war zone, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, these idiots have wandered into a situation and inadvertently created a war zone. I got to get them out of it.
Yeah.
Nice and simple.
Absolutely. But yeah, so let's dive into some of your notes here. What do you got first here?
All right. So I really like the music in this film.
Yeah.
So starting off from the theme song, which is really good. It's really nice to have a film with a theme song. And the score to this is fantastic. Who does the music in this? It is
Robert Farnon.
Robert Farnon. I enjoyed it, and honestly, my friend's vinyl shop, shout out Music Research Library, definitely had a copy of this,
Ooh.
and so I'll try to find it. Anyway, so my next note: Bob Simmons. Our first screen 007 is the stunt coordinator in this movie, and action coordinator in this film. So yes, he is the first on-screen 007 in Dr. No. He is the gun barrel Bond for all of them until is it I think it's You Only Live Twice is the first one Connery does.
Oh shit.
So they're working together again. Okay, so my first note was best theme yet.
Yep.
And then my next note was noisiest intro yet. This movie just starts right off with clanking pots and pans and gunshots.
Oh,
and
man.
Yelling. They're just yelling at a mountain lion.
All I was thinking about in this scene is exactly what I do when it's like 3 below outside. I'm waiting for my dog to take a shit outside. I'm just hitting pots and pans like, hey, I'm whistling at him, and he's just like flipping out and running up a mountain. And I was like, I don't shoot him, obviously, for game, but I do yell at him.
And we are introduced to Irina, and she shoots, played by Bridgette Bardot, and she shoots the mountain lion, and she gets quite a rush out of it. Okay, my next note is something I wanted to talk about because I had to call Nicole in to watch the scene with me to make sure that I was reading it correctly. And then I realized that if I had waited a little bit longer. So, all right, so I'm going to just address this. Because of that note, that the assault of Honor Blackman's character, I knew that was going to be a part of this movie, so it was in the back of my brain. And I didn't know who was going to perform that action, when it was going to happen, and there's a moment right at the beginning of the film where she goes over to the tour, not the tour guide, the leader of the frontier adventurer leading the expedition, Bosky Fulton. She goes up to him and like dumps champagne out in front of him, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he says, if you were my woman, I'd make you lap that up. And she responds in a cheeky way because she's Honor Blackman and she's cheeky and she's good. But I wasn't sure of how to read it because my brain was mentally prepping me for what was to come and trying to... I think it was overwhelmed with that, trying to process that information. So I had called Nicole in, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, they're flirting with each other." And then if I had waited 15 seconds, I would have seen, "Oh yeah, they're cucking the husband there. they're totally, doing it behind his back." And that's Charles Daggett, who actually turned out to be one of my favorite actors in the film. He was played by Jack Hawkins. I quite enjoyed his performance. I enjoyed everyone's performance in this film. You?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I liked him, and I enjoyed Peter Van Eyck. Ike.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yes,
I enjoyed him a lot as well.
What's else has he been in?
Let's see.
Because I was looking through his list, and I'm like, I can't. There's nothing here that I can recall.
Oh my god, quite a big filmography.
But I'm like,
let's see if there's anything we would know.
There's something I've seen his
Hitler's Children, Hitler's Madman. He was a German actor, so he was in a lot of these films. The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. I don't remember who he was in that. But
I'm thinking I'm probably just mixing him up with what's his name, who was in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, see, they look very similar.
The one is like, we're gonna go to war with the Jones
Julian
boys.
Glover.
Him, yeah. I think looking at him, it's like he looks very similar, and I'm like, maybe that's where I seen him for. I'm thinking it was either Indy or maybe Star Wars or something. But I was like, or Bond. I'm like, where have I seen him before? I must be mistaken.
Okay, so it looks like that Shalako was his second to last film. The last one he did was the Bridgette Bardot in 1969. Now, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold is the only other film I've seen him in. But in 1962, he's in a film called The Longest Day, which is on our list.
Oh,
Yep. So he's acted with Connery before.
Peter Van will return.
Oh. So yeah, I liked everyone in this, and he plays Lieutenant Colonel Ocker in that film. So yeah, I liked everybody in this movie. Everyone was. I mean, granted, you're not supposed to like everybody in this movie, but all the actors in this film were great.
Bridgette Bardot is drop dead gorgeous. She's
fantastic, and she's a wonderful actress.
Oh,
in this
yes.
film. I really liked her character and the way she plays the character. She has respect, and she knows how gorgeous she is, and she's not. Connery tries to make his move, and Van Eyck tries to make, or is it Eyck or? Yep, Van Eyck tries to make his move, and she rebuffs them both in a respectable fashion. She's like, I'm gonna get through this emotionally and personally first before I figure out what I want.
Yeah, she's a badass.
Yeah,
I mean, even on
great.
even on some of the posters, she's got that rifle in hand, looking badass. And I was like, I was really into that because, like, holy shit, it's cool to see, a strong, beautiful woman just holding it down. And like, there's times when men are telling her to like shoot him, like it's like she's taking care of business. I fucking love that. So I thought that was cool as fuck.
I like that her character evolution is pretty quick.
She
doesn't have a long arc. She starts out excited to hunt because she's good at it. Turns out she's really good at it. Well, maybe we don't know how actually good at it she is. But enough that she killed the mountain lion that nobody else was able to shoot. And she gets excited and she's like, I want to hunt more. And as soon as she gets brave and goes out into the wilderness to kill, shit gets completely turned on its head, and she realizes this is life or death, but also that we are on the wrong side of this situation. So I'm just gonna survive this, and then I'm gonna figure out my life. And it's a pretty quick evolution. Like, she goes from being naive to being alert and aware very quickly.
Hell yeah.
The story is not her personal journey. It's more, if anything, the big personal choice for her is Connery or Van Eyck, Shalako or Hallstatt, excuse me. Yeah. And the personal journey is more of these rich characters. I think it's more their personal arc. Shalako doesn't really get a personal arc, except for he doesn't have time to bury the dead, and now he does have time to bury the dead.
He's very, very Han Solo, like kind of hero for hire type
James
character.
Bonded.
Very James Bondy as well. Yeah, just fucking all out cool as fuck. But yeah, speaking of like the rich folk, I did have a note here saying English are very English in this movie. I just love that. I love the traveling case of like tea and everything, like the shelves that they had out on their camp.
Loved that.
Just very, very British. I really
the
appreciate
record player, that thing with the music box, that was so cool.
Oh yeah,
and so British.
Yeah, man, that was so cool. And like, I was looking, I had to pause. I was like, "What is that?" It's like, yeah, it's kind of like almost like a player piano with those little like kind of, what do you call that? The
like dots.
The dots on it, and like
it's like a MIDI. It's a MIDI player.
Yeah, it's like, man. Maybe one day our podcast will be on one of those. We should get our podcast printed on one of those.
Exactly, and it'll be like 9 circular discs
for 2 hours.
Yeah. And Honor Blackman is very English, and she's like, "Look at these jewels; they must mean a lot to you." Next note: that spear death. Oh my gosh.
Which one? There's a couple that way.
Well, the first one, the first real death in this movie.
Oh, him like
the cowboy that is sent out to watch over Irina as she hunts is quickly captured, and So, folks, imagine a bow, like a shoot, like a bow and arrow, like an archery bow. Now, imagine that the wooden part of the bow is a human, right? And you have a rock and the ground. You have a right angle, and you lean that bow on a right angle. And now, coming up from the center point of that right angle is an arrow coming up at 45 degrees.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? 2017's Logan. Like, that's how Logan goes out at the end. Spoilers for Logan.
Yes, on a tree.
Yeah, but it was just kind of like...
he was impaled though already. This is like a saw trap. Or just like a slow torture trap. Like, because Logan just gets killed.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just impaled in a fight. This is methodical. So if you continue with my bow metaphor, you imagine that the actual wooden part of the bow, the arch, is a human being literally laying on this arrow coming up at a 45-degree angle. And they didn't impale him. They just left him there. And if you see it, he's like struggling to hold himself up as this thing slowly impales him from behind. It's horrific.
Yeah.
It's a torture scene. It is not... forgive me, folks. I should have put some kind of warning. There is graphic content in this film. I think it's a torture scene. I think that's the way I was reading it visually, that they set him up and basically said, you're going to die. It's just going to be up to you how quickly you die. Like, how much pain do you want to go through right now?
Yeah.
And they just left him there. And he's just arching his back as much as he can and, like, leaning back. It's horrific. And just slowly being impaled from the back. Oof.
Yeah,
that spear death, man. That messed me up last night.
What a way to go.
My next note, Fulton. Bosky Fulton? Which is his way of going, Bond? James Bond?
Our first Bond connection.
Right? So, because he asked, like, what are you doing out here? And she said, oh, I'm with Bosky Fulton's leading the hunting party. And he goes, Fulton? Bosky Fulton? Tell him he's fired.
A lot of Diamonds Are Forever references today.
Right? My next note is side saddle seems so dangerous.
Oh.
Bridgette Bardot rides side saddle, and that seems so dangerous. Especially she's in a dress. Like, she could just fall at any point. Like, I don't know. She could just slide off.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, there's nothing keeping her on there. I did think it was kind of funny when they're riding along and he stops and she goes, what is it? He goes, shut up. Like, it's not funny that he's telling somebody to shut up, but it kind of is.
It's very abrupt.
Right? The Apache chief, the father of Chato, looks like he's played by Rob Schneider. Let me see.
Maybe an ancestor.
I'll share my screen with you.
We'll put this on Instagram as well for you folks.
Yes, we will put this all on Instagram. See? Doesn't he look like Rob Schneider?
He does.
Also, I had no idea that was supposed to be Chato's father. Did you?
Yeah, I thought it was like a brother or something.
Yeah.
Like, they look the same age to me.
Indeed. Oh, yeah. We'll get to that one. All right. My next note. Chato says to Shalako, my spirit will live forever if I kill you before I die.
Very, you strike me down, I'll be as powerful as ever.
You strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. So let's talk about their deal. So Shalako has set up a peace treaty with these Apaches to keep white men off their land, to keep them safe, essentially, and to keep these people off their land. And this hunting party has just gone in willy-nilly, and the Apache group has mistaken it as, well, Shalako's slacking off and going back on his word. Oh, sorry. I thought for a second I had stopped recording. I don't know why I keep having that. But they think that Shalako has gone back on his word, and they basically like, we're gonna kill you all. And Shalako's like, let me give me a chance to get everyone off the land. And he realizes like it's gonna be dangerous. I'm gonna go get the army and see what can be done. But he doesn't get to the army. I love Mako, the butler. He's great.
Oh,
He's talking about how British the camp is. And one of the members of the caravan calls, "Get the wagon, wagon." He keeps saying wagon. Do you notice that?
yeah. Yes, wagon.
It reminded me of Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island, like treasure. Oh, I bit my cheek when I said that. Oh man! But the way Fred would say treasure, buried treasure.
Oh yes, I love treasure. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
What a horrible detour. That just threw me off the tracks big time. All right. I feel bad. I feel really bad. All right. One little note. I noticed that Connery kicks the horse in the neck as he dismounts.
Oh my god! Yeah, I noticed that, dude. Such weird horse things in this movie.
There's some horse falls in this movie.
Oh, can we talk about the whole? Okay, so let's go to my horse section of my notes. I have Connery judo kicking a horse in the back of the neck.
Yep.
I have.
It's subtle too. It's not. He doesn't mean to, but it's accidental.
And then there's two Apaches that have weird horse things. One being when they're attacking the camp. There's one. I think it's Arena shooting from the barn or someone else, and they shoot one of them. And they're jumping over a fence with the horse, and the guy gets shot off, and the horse takes a fall, but then immediately like jumps back up like he stuck the landing. I'll have to find clip. I'll find the clip and I'll have to share it. That'll be on there. But it's like he sticks the landing. And then my third one is when they finally sneak off, when Shalako gets everyone out, they come back to the camp. And one guy runs, like he's trotting forward on his horse, kind of looks around and turns back around, and he's whipping the horse on the ass, but he's holding a hatchet in his hand. So it looks like he's hitting the ass of the horse with the hatchet. Like on the blade is this whoosh, whoosh. like what is going on with this fucking...
Yes, definitely clip those out.
Yeah, I'm going to find those. And then in the middle of those, I'll just add this other last note. A quote from Fulton. He says, in the coach, at least 12 times within 5 minutes. But he's
where to put the things.
He's collecting everything. Yes. In the coach. In the coach. Grabs the necklace. In the coach.
Where does a soccer team find inspiration?
In the coach. In the coach.
I liked that twist, though. To be honest, I really liked that. Like of course, this scumbag would just be a scumbag at the worst possible time to be a scumbag.
Super heel turn. It reminded me a little bit of we talk Star Wars sometimes. Benicio del Toro's character in Rise of Skywalker, where he kind of flip flops and just opportunity wherever he can get it. It was really cool. And a little bit of the twist of, I mean, we knew Lady Daggett was like, kind of flirting with him, and just a turn that she's like, yeah, I'm going with him. And I was like, holy shit, that was a bit of a turn,
I liked
too.
that twist.
Yeah.
Especially because I had written, I really liked Honor Blackman. She's great in this movie.
She is.
And I thought that, so she is just a rich snob the whole time, and it's revealed that she and her husband are broke, and if they go back to England, they'll probably be arrested for debts they owe, and they probably can't even afford to get back to England anyway. So she's just kind of schmoozing wherever she can. Again, opportunist. But there's a moment where she is dealing with one of the guys who's been shot, and it really messes her up. And I thought that was going to be her motivation to like flip sides and really join in the fight. But nope, she flipped sides the other way and joined the robbers. So
Two times she really has traumatic moments with like just dead folks. Just like there's that with like, come here and hold his legs. And
in the cart when the other guy gets shot in the head,
right in front of her, and it's
and
like
falls on her.
Yeah, so like she just went through stuff in the whole movie. She has the blood on her scarf, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, like this woman has been through so much, and then like the way she goes out, super traumatic. Like she just went through it.
Should we just talk about that?
Yeah, might as well skip to that. Yeah, we're kind of skipping around this episode, but
I'm gonna say, like I said, it was always on my mind as I was watching this movie. I'm like, this is gonna happen at some point. I don't know how it's gonna happen or when it's gonna happen or who's gonna do it, and it's making me uncomfortable. And while the moment itself made me uncomfortable, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think the build was more uncomfortable for me because because I didn't remember that this was happening. And then when it started happening, I was like, "Oh shit, that's right. We talked about this."
Yeah.
And
it is an assault, but it's not what you think it is.
Yeah, because so we can agree. Is this the cut up version?
No. I think that this would be the scene that is cut. That scene would not play on television.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just like, yeah, it was very uncomfortable.
There's no nudity or. But yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be on AMC.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah. That was definitely uncomfortable. That's a cut. You know, my top 3 like kind of cringe moments were that. There's the false one with Shalako where Connery goes, "What if I take what I want?" And I'm like, "Oh no!" And then it turns out, okay, he backs off.
He doesn't.
Maybe you should go back to bed. And I'm like, okay, good.
He respects her.
I like that. And then I just didn't like it. And then the only scene I fast forward through was the murder of 3 dogs. I didn't like that. I'm a dog guy.
Yeah. I did have a note on that. Just give the dogs the treats. Don't kill them.
Yeah, I thought that was a bummer. I like that the one dog kind of got a little bit of payback and kind of avenged his fallen friends. But I just didn't like that. I was kind of like, just give him a treat to let him go, man.
I'm glad that you don't actually see it happen. They don't make a cheap attempt or anything. It's done tastefully out of frame.
Yeah, so yeah, I just didn't like that at all. So like it bummed me out. So, yeah, same thing with the was that a cougar, jaguar? What is that?
A mountain lion.
I'm not
sure.
Feline experts, let us know in the comments. But yeah, I'm glad that was kind of off the side too, because there are some. Because I mean, you know, famously, we talk about Bond a lot about in this podcast. Famously, Thunderball, they actually killed sharks in that movie, and you see it, and so it's like a bummer. So
and
like,
Never Say Never Again.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's dead sharks in that movie.
Yeah, so it's like always a bummer to see that, and like just seeing, you know, I think we talked about it. This would have been a good movie to check. Does the dog die? Like,
you would have gotten a 3.
I didn't think I had to worry about that in this movie, but like, yeah, this kind of bummed me out.
Maybe we need to go forward with that. We'll check it. We'll check it each week after we get whatever we spin next on the wheel. We'll then go to Does the Dog Die?
Does the dog die, or does the shark die, or does anything die?
Let me wrap up this bit, and then we don't have to talk about it anymore. But I think it's important that we do talk about it. There is a sexual assault in this film. That being said, it is not what you think it would be. It wasn't. I didn't enjoy watching it, but I also didn't feel like I needed to turn off the movie or skip through it. And ultimately, all right, I'm not trying to justify this at all. Please don't take it as this. But okay, so for context, one of my notes was kill these rich fucks, because at one point when Connery is just telling them, you need to move. You need to get off this land. And they're like, well, let's just kill the savages. What do you say? Like, I wrote, kill these rich fucks. Now, Honor Blackman's, the assault, I can't condone that as part of film. But what it builds up to of the death of her character is a fitting horror movie death for that character.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Spoilers, she tries to... The assault does not escalate far on film. Obviously, it will trigger some people, but I don't think it's going to get... I don't think you would need to shut off the movie over it. That's my take on that. But she tries to buy her way out of it by offering them some of the diamond necklaces that she has pocketed and stolen, and one of the attackers forces her to eat the diamond necklace. I'm only condoning this part of the scene because that is a good horror movie death for a character previously established as shallow-minded and only wanting money.
Mm.
If you could take the middle part out of the assault part, then I think that would work better. However, there is a removal of an item of clothing that because of that, you cannot recut the scene to take that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, I can understand how they would edit this for film because prior to all of this, she plays dead. The cart tips over that she's in, and she gets out of it, and then upon being seen, she basically plays dead. Doesn't look as stupid as that sounds. She's out of sight of them, but when she notices that they're about to turn around, she plays dead. And that you could cut it there on television, or you could cut around that so she's like you see the cart fall and then it cuts back and she's on the ground playing dead, but you as the audience think visually she's dead. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And you could go, oh, she was thrown from the cart and killed or something. You know what I mean? So I can totally get how it's edited out. So, but the fact that it was in the film did make me uncomfortable. But the horror movie death ending to it was okay. Forgive me, guys. Listeners out there, I don't mean to sound like I'm not condoning these actions. I'm not condoning assault of any kind. But when you're presented with a good horror movie death and it's just the circumstances that surround it, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give the film a prop where it can, but also go, no, this was a no. You could have done this much better by removing this element.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were to remake that film today, the assault part would be left out, and it would be the forcing a rich person to eat their diamonds, because that's a good horror movie death.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen Bone Tomahawk, but like it sounds like something from that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like the cannibals forced the rich settlers to eat their jewelry. You know.
Well said. Well said.
Forgive me, that was so long-winded.
No worries.
And Honor Blackman plays it very well.
Oh yeah.
She plays a good death scene. She's fantastic in this movie. I think she might have been my favorite of the players.
Mm.
just because she's all sass, man. She's all sass.
Yeah, it makes me curious to see other things, because again, we always know her from Goldfinger and now this, so I'd like to see her more. And she was in the original The Avengers.
Yes.
So that's something we could look into at some point.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a couple of episodes of the Avengers. Just maybe pick one with Honor Blackman, pick one with Diana Rigg, and
Absolutely.
All right, what else do we have here? Shalako says, "Don't let me sleep for any more than 2 hours." He definitely sleeps more than 2 hours.
At least.
Sleep. It's daytime when he goes to take a nap. It's nighttime when he wakes up from the nap, and it's daytime when he's on the road.
Yeah.
So that's a day. One of the quotes I wrote down was, "Driven him off my butt." I don't remember when that was, but
is that when they're on the road, when they first leave?
Yeah, I think it's that they they think that they've lost them.
Like when they all pass, and then Frederick goes, it's like, come on, we could have taken them. There were only 6 of them, and then Shalako goes, well, what about them? And there's like 50 of them.
I loved that part. That
Like,
was
man.
great. And he's just holding the knife to Hallstatt's throat.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about like that. There's the visually, it was really good, and
It's
like
a beautiful film.
yeah, and like a lot,
Visually.
and like I think we talked about like the amount of people we saw in, like, for example, Man Who Would Be King. Big cast, big battles, just dozens of
Not
horses.
huge battles in this.
Well, not huge,
I
but
wouldn't
like
not as big of a cast in this film.
yeah. But I think for the time, I think it was like there were some pretty like stacked like areas of battle. I thought that was really interesting, and I think it all sounded pretty well. There's a couple of voiceover that sound a little off. For example,
Bridgette Bardot was definitely dubbed. Yeah,
I don't know for sure. Leia Daggett's husband, what's his name?
Jack Hawkins. I didn't think he was dubbed.
The one with the funky mustache, right?
Yeah, the one that kills Fulton, right? They shoot each other at the end.
Yes.
Wow, Bardot was paid $400,000 plus 12.5% of the profits.
Really?
Oh my gosh!
Jeez.
Pretty damn good.
But no, if you go back to the scene when Lady Daggett and him are talking about not being able to go back to London and all that stuff, he's definitely dubbed. You can see
it's have to rewatch that scene.
his mouth is off in some of the talking. Like there's like an extra word in there, or the way he pronounced the word is like you could tell it's like pretty dubbed. But other than that,
I wonder if he dubbed himself, because it sounded like the voice fit him. And he's an English actor. Jack Hawkins is an English actor.
I mean, I'm sure he dubbed himself, because that's the thing. Because like when we talked about it like a few episodes ago about like Orc Goldfinger. In Goldfinger, when that was dubbed, and like that sounds just like him. So I don't know if he dubbed himself. Did they say
he dubbed himself in the German version?
So he did. Oh, in the German version. Okay.
Somebody else dubbed him in the English version.
It's so interesting because he sounds just like that. In interviews, like the very few interviews I've been able to find on YouTube, he sounds just like that. So it's super interesting. Voiceover work is very interesting to me, especially in these older films. But yeah, other than that, I think everything sounded fine. Connery was Connery. I think Bridgette was herself. I could be wrong.
Yeah, she was definitely dubbed. But I don't know if it was her or not.
I thought Fulton, Stephen Boyd, I think he sounded fine from what I remember.
What a scumbag.
Yeah, man.
What a scumbag.
This classic.
And once everyone's dead, he's just like, well, I guess I got to go back.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
Oh,
but
yes.
Connery's like, well, we need an extra gun. So I did like that moment. He's like, you get up there. He's like, where? So I can die first? He's like, Yep, and so I can watch you. And then all of a sudden, the guy in the back gets shot.
Yeah.
In the way back, like, whoops, wrong guy. Wrong guy. What else we got? I don't like long gunfights. Though this is where that at 47 minutes in, the first raid on the camp when they're showing up for the first time and the dogs are killed, but that there's a big gunfight. It's like 9 minutes or something, and there's almost no music. That's where you put the 007 theme. Can it 007?
Yes.
So at that first raid.
Absolutely.
Because it's the most action-packed battle, I think.
I think so too, yeah.
Also, we get a spear fight, not a sword fight, spear fight, and a backflip during the spear fight. So, can somebody out there out there in the audience with good visual effects skills turn those spears into double-edged lightsabers?
Yes.
Please. So.
We have a lot of lightsaber requests on the show for sure. Yeah. I still want that Avengers one. I think it's the one I really want.
Oh yeah, especially at the end.
Oh yeah,
in the ocean, on the platform there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Though honestly, the hedge maze fight isn't bad. It's quick, but it's not bad. It's edited poorly though. That's the thing. What else we got? Oh, the old snake whip.
Can we talk about how he took out the snake?
He just grabs it and whips it till it's dead.
But he like
hits it with his hat.
Yeah, I was like, a guy thought that he killed it with his hat.
I think he distracts it with the hat. Like he waves the hat towards its hand, so it goes after the hat.
Yeah,
and he's got a foot of protection between his hand and the snake.
And he whips the shit out of it.
And then he just whips it. Which also you could put the music from Dr. No when he's whipping his shoe and killing the tarantula. The harmless tarantula.
Oh man.
But yeah, the old snake whip.
The old snake whip.
Only 6 of them. That was a good moment. Oh, his real name is Moses Zebulun Carlin.
Very biblical name.
He goes by, yes, and he said that his mother was very biblical. So Moses Zebulun Carlin, but that's why he goes by Shalako, which is a tribe gave him because it means rain bringer. And every time he would show up to this dry village, the rain would come. So his name is Shalako. So he's a white savior character. But he plays a pretty noble character, I guess, except for the one moment where he's like, I'm horny. And what if I were to just take what I wanted? Thankfully, he doesn't. He does not cross the line into being a character we cannot support in this film. He respects her choice, and he, in the scene, sets up, he's like, I've been picking up that you like me. And you've been picking up that I like you. We're not dumb here. And we've had to deal with multiple people dying here, so let's not beat around the bush. We like each other here.
Oh yeah, and even like at the jumping to towards the end of her like randomly topless kind of washing herself, I guess she was. Whatever.
Do we want to talk about that? I got some screenshots of that.
Yeah.
He's describing of why he doesn't have a wife, and he says, out here, a man just finds a squaw, washes her down good a couple of times. So then she, we see her topless, and she goes, what was it? Wash yourself down once or twice?
So yeah, so it was always like you said, like I like you, you like me type deal, but it was just kind of like, when is it going to happen? They knew it was like a bad time. But
his pushiness is not attractive, but ultimately he ends up respecting the fact that she is going through something personally right now and needs to make a choice later.
Yeah.
So, right now it's about survival. Oh, I really like when they are like gathering their supplies up. Connery says, "I hope the wine is properly chilled." Because at this point, they're left with like the smallest jug of water to split between them all.
Which brings it back to Goldfinger when it's like, oh, it's lots chill.
It's worse than listening to the Beatles without earmuffs.
Oh, why does he hate the Beatles so much? We'll attack that in the Goldfinger episode.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Though he definitely has some Beatles-esque hair in this movie.
Yes.
Not the mop top, but it's like shaggy and unkempt.
Very, very Ringo, very Paul.
There's a moment where the American politician's wife speaks Spanish to one of the members of the Frontier Guide. Right? You know what I'm talking about? And there's a moment she speaks Spanish to him, and then she says to her husband, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I know you don't like it when I speak Spanish." And he says, "Oh, you know what? It's a beautiful language. I've really come to appreciate it." Buenas noches.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay, so rewatch that scene. She says a line, and I turned it up as much as I can. I speak a little Spanish. I turned it up as much as I can. She says gibberish and trails off. And there's no subtitle at that scene. I put subtitles on. So she says this line. There's no subtitle. Then he responds with "Sí, señora," and she responds with "Buenas noches." And when she apologizes to her husband, she said, "I know you don't like it when I speak Spanish." And he goes, "Oh, it's a beautiful language. Buenas noches, hasta mañana." Something along those lines. But all of that is subtitled. There's only one line that's not subtitled. She's speaking gibberish and trails off. And that's the Spanish that she apologizes to her husband for speaking because she knows it makes him uncomfortable. I'd be more uncomfortable that she's speaking gibberish and calling it Spanish. Because seriously, go back and watch this scene. She is speaking gibberish. And then he goes, "Sí, señora."
We'll insert the audio here.
Good night, Senator.
Qué lejos estamos nosotros, nuestra tierra, ¿verdad?
Sí, señor.
Buenas noches. I'm sorry, Henry. I know you don't like me to speak Spanish, but somehow it's comforting.
Buenas noches, senor. Hasta mañana. It is a beautiful language. Perhaps you teach me someday. Huh?
Qué lejos estamos nosotros, nuestra tierra, ¿verdad?
Sí, señor.
Qué lejos estamos nosotros, nuestra tierra, ¿verdad?
Sí, señor.
If maybe I'm wrong. If there are Spanish speakers fluent out there, dig into this and tell me if she's actually saying something. But the fact that it is the only line of dialogue in that whole exchange that is not subtitled, all the other Spanish is, and it doesn't sound like she's saying any actual words. In fact, it sounds like she says the word horses in there. Not caballos, horses. So, I don't know. Anyway, that was a big thing I had to bring up. So, I apologize. That makes you uncomfortable that I speak Spanish. No, I'm just more concerned that you're having a stroke. My next note is Daggett defeated. Charles Daggett is it Charles? Yep, Sir Charles Daggett does not want to fight anymore. He just sits there moping because he finds out his wife is dead. And I really liked that scene where he's talking and he's like, "She didn't love me, but in my own way, I really loved her." Like, as these characters get more and more desperate, you find out a lot about them, and they become much more human. You know, which again, to bring up the horror movie death aspect of choking on the diamonds, like her character is pretty irredeemable. Like, obviously, I don't condone the assault that happens, but her as a character is set up as completely irredeemable. She is set up as a gold digger, essentially, doesn't care about the fact that her husband may be going to jail. Granted, that's his own debt to take on, but she clearly doesn't give a shit about this guy. She's flirting with other dudes right in front of him. And then at his lowest moment, she leaves him for the dude that robbed them all. And turns out, and there's a moment later on where she's riding in the coach, and Fulton comes up and he's like, I'm going to head out. I'm going to go further ahead. Do you want to ride with me? And she's like, no, I'm just going to hang out in here. She's just living in the lap of luxury, man. She wants everything that's coming her way. So her horror movie death is fitting. But it's more sad when you find out, that Sir Charles really loved her, and he's sad that happened to her. And when he finds out that she's dead, he's gonna kind of take revenge, though he should take revenge on the Native Americans that killed her. But, but I guess, Fulton for putting her in that situation or putting them all in that situation is probably just as bad. Another thing I want to talk about. They have to climb up a mountain. That is a really tense scene. I liked that scene a lot. Did you like that scene?
Yeah, it's like we just had another tense mountain scene too in
Action of the Tiger.
Yeah, it's super tense.
And both of them involve dropping of ammunition.
Yeah.
In Action of the Tiger, he's got to drop grenades, and in this one, they accidentally drop their ammunition.
Yeah.
Which also, so as they're talking, leading into that scene, Hallstatt says, like, okay, you know what? Let's go over that mountain. I can climb that mountain, and I can help us get us all up there. And you gain a little mutual respect for him. Like, okay, yeah, he's a scumbag, but he's got some skills that can't be denied, and he's going to use them to get everyone to safety. And when they're talking about who needs to, how long it's going to take, there's this one guy that says, "Oh, I don't like climbing any higher than my horse." They give that guy all the bags. Watch, I'm going to share my screen with you. This is the guy that says that he doesn't like going any higher than his horse. He's got a box, a bag. He's got one bag back here behind his hat and another bag here. So he's got 3 bags, a rifle, and a box. And he's the one that doesn't like climbing.
Ugh. That's my nightmare.
And he drops the box full of ammunition.
All while keeping his hat on, too. Impressive.
Right? This guy almost gets trampled by horses several times.
Oh, yeah.
And then, Daggett as he dies. So he gets revenge on Fulton by shooting him, but at the same time, he is shot. So they both die at the same time. And Jack Daggett says, "At last, I've managed to get something right." And then he hilariously dies. His death face is amazing. He's still moving. Like, they got to cut away pretty quick because he's still breathing. But also, "At last I've managed to get something right." No, you didn't kill the people that killed your wife. You still didn't get it right, dude. But you've grown to feel for him as a character. And yeah, that's where I left off at screenshots. Okay. Yeah, the spear fight was really good. I liked that. Okay, so Connery, Shalako beats Chato in the spear fight, and doesn't kill him. He holds him at bay, and Chato's father, Mako. No, wait, no, not Mako.
I say for under my
Mako's
thing.
the butler.
I would say under my casting, he's just credited as Chateau's father. Like he has
The
no
Apache
name.
Chief. Yeah. Yep. Chateau's father, Rod Redwing. Say that 10 times fast. Say that 3 times even. Rod Redwing. So he speaks English for the first time and tells Shalako to let his son go. And no more bloodshed. The violence stops here. You've made your point. We're letting the people off the land. And Chato's response to his dad goes, "You have killed me." Nope. He made sure you're still alive. Well, you gonna be all grumpy now?
Yeah, you're
Because you can't die? Oh no!
literally saved
you
your
can't die
life.
at the hand of somebody. Now you can maybe go on and do something.
And looking back at the scene, I'm actually watching the scene right now. Chateau looks way older.
Yes,
Like
he
it's
looks like a 50 or 60-year-old man, but the dad looks maybe 70, maybe, but not even.
Oh, let's look. What year was he born? Let's see.
Rod Redwing was born in 1904, and Woody Strode was an American athlete and actor.
Oh, so he died. He died a few years after this. Jeez.
Well, oh my God! Look at Woody Strode's picture. He does not look anything like.
Oh yeah.
Football star. Anyway, born in 1914, so 10 years older. Or 10 years younger, excuse me. 10 years younger. So yeah, they weren't that far apart in age.
Yeah.
My final 2 notes. Shalako buries the dead now. That's his character arc. He doesn't have a character arc, but that's fine with me. And there's no real character endings to anybody because we just get one shot of everyone riding off somewhere, not into the sunset, just into the distance, and we don't see who it is or who is going, or that Shalako and Countess Irina are riding off. Like there's nothing that indicates who is who, and it just says the end.
Well, actually, I'm rewatching it right now, and
can you tell
they split off? Shalako goes off by himself.
Really?
Yeah, if you go back and watch
did she
it.
follow?
Yep, there we go. Now it's there. Okay, that's better. Yeah, so they if you fast forward to exactly 1 minute 31. And yeah, they're going off in a group, and Shalako goes.
There she rides off with him.
Yeah, he goes up to the right first, and he's like, "Well, are you coming?" And then she's, "Oh yes, of course." And then they take off. So okay, that's a little better. I like that. He finished his mission. He got them to safety and said, "All right, I'm heading off on my own with my lady." So
well, I don't think I think he's just riding off, and then she starts following him, and then it looks like he notices that she's following and goes, "All right, well, come on along."
yeah, so
Maybe that's me, but yeah, it's all still very far away, so it's really hard to tell.
Well, then you go to the end panel, and yeah, they're walking together, and it's it seems, and then they're kind of racing each other. So yeah, so that's something to.
And you can't see them at all during the credits.
Yeah, then it's
just
just
a really long shot.
Yeah, that's just a mountain. Looks like a still image.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think all in all, so yeah, I mean that makes it a little more.
Chief Tug Smith plays Loco.
Big Tug.
And chief is in quotations. Like, so is he a chief? Yeah, he's Chief Tug. Chief Tug Smith. Anyway. So yeah, that's about all my notes for this.
Yeah, I mean short and sweet, just like how this. I mean, 2-hour movie again, but like short and Shalako.
Short and Shalako.
Yes.
Shalako. I keep saying Shalako. Shalako. Lamore remarked that Sean Connery, who starred in the role, would certainly look tall in the saddle. When Lloyd, the producer, Ewan Lloyd, when Lloyd met Sean Connery and discussed the work with him, he learned that Connery was a Western fan since childhood. And he was also keen to do the film as he had been promised $1 million and a percentage of the profits of the $5 million budget.
Oh, damn.
Connery was available as he had turned down playing Bond in Majesties.
Ugh.
Damn.
Still wish we got that. But
Same.
but yeah, man. So
Simmons talked Connery into shaving off the droopy mustache, which he'd grown for the historic period. Wow, he would have had a droopy mustache in this.
oh, I would have liked that if he had his handlebar Lemmy mustache. That would have looked cool. That would have been a cool look.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Oh, okay.
you know.
When Shalako was in production, Harry Saltzman's second World War film, Play Dirty, set in North Africa, was being filmed on the same locations. One film crew had to wipe out the tire tracks in the sand before filming the Old West, while the other had to pick up the horse droppings before shooting the Second World War battles. Huh. That's funny. Connery and Bardot got on well during filming and both enjoyed the experience of making the film. Boy, I wonder. Oh, okay. All right. At this stage in his career, Jack Hawkins had lost his once booming voice to throat cancer. His voice was dubbed by others.
Really? Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Confirmed.
Yeah, and I'm guessing since the death of the cowboy sent to protect Bardot's character, since we see him get impaled on that arrow, I'm guessing we have got the version with no edits. All right, so yeah, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, so I get into our review section of our score section of the review. You guys know every episode we like to review the film and review Sir Connery's performance.
Rate them. We've done the review.
Rate them.
But now we rate them.
Yes.
So we do a film rating and we do a Sean rating.
Here, let me take it back, right? All right, guys, so this is the portion of the show where we score the film and score the Connery. We will get a score of the film. Oh, of course you are. Oh, but of course you are.
Of course. All right, so we go out of 10, and we want to do the film rating or the Sean rating first?
We'll do film rating first. I'll let you go first.
What do you? Oh, you let me go first.
Yes.
Okay.
I went first last time.
I really liked this film.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
I had a good time. Would I watch it again? Yes. I would watch this film again. But would I watch it again soon? I'd probably give this like another 10 years before I watch it. Everybody is good in this movie. Visually, it's fantastic. The song slaps.
Mm-hmm.
The horror movie death is great. The moments before that are not so much. The portrayal of Native Americans is problematic in a lot of degrees in this film. Because of moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the white people are also depicted as delightfully shitty. And appropriately, they're appropriate scumbags. Oh boy, I'm sorry. This is long-winded. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give this a 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going 7.
All right.
What are you doing?
All right. So me, answering the same questions. Did I like it? Yes, I thought it's a good film. Would I watch it again? Sure. I think also it would take some time to watch it. And I guess the other thing would be, would you show somebody? Which would be another thing to.
Oh, would I show somebody?
Yeah, would you show anybody?
Yes. If somebody asked me for a good Western, I would show them this.
Yeah, I would show specifically my fiance's stepfather, who actually does enjoy Westerns. I remember we actually hung out one time. We watched like 2 Westerns together, and like a couple of, it was a Clint Eastwood. It wasn't Good, Bad, and the Ugly. It was a different Western. I forget.
Fistful of Dollars, Few Dollars.
That's what it was. Fistful of Dollars, which I never saw before, so I had to see it for the first time with him. So he's a big fan of Westerns, so maybe he has seen this before. Who knows? If not, I'll have to ask him and recommend this to him for sure. So shout out to John Lopez if you're listening to this. We're gonna watch this together.
Hey, John. If I would have showed this to anybody, it would have been my dad when he was still alive. He would have enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's.
Or you know what? I could probably show my uncle, my great uncle. He would probably enjoy this a lot.
Yeah, and I didn't really check the for like critic reviews.
Yeah, give it a check.
It was let's see. So IMDb rating is 5.6 out of 10. But I'll take a look at
Seems a little low.
I'll look at Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not sure if they'll have one for this, but perhaps. Shalako. Rotten Tomatoes. Tomato meter of 40% and
really
audience score of 29%.
Oof. Ooh, I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, it's like.
Do you think I'm being generous, giving it a 7?
I don't know. I mean, so let's go to my review. I would
go to your rating.
I would give it a 6. Just because again, it's not a bad film. I think I'm more basing it on like memorable moments. Like you think, other Westerns, you think of, again, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. What do you think of when you think of that film? You think of the theme song, and you think of like the classic image of like the 3-way stare off, and and this one, it didn't really have any like iconic.
I thought you were talking about Shalako for a second, the iconic theme song of Shalako.
Well, that's the thing. This had all those elements too of like great music. And we'll get to Connery's acting in a second. But yeah, I just felt like I didn't have a ton of like I had a good time watching it. And there's no memorable moments for me. And I just took a point off because they fucking killed dogs. And I don't like that shit. And so
understandable.
So I think that's what took it down a whole grade. So I maybe would have hit it with 7 on another lifetime.
I think I could do a good edit of this movie.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Like, I think
cut like 25 minutes from this movie. Slim down some of the gunfights. I'll take out the scene where they kill the dogs.
Yes, thank you. And then
you know what I would do? I would just cut it so that because they give the dog the treats to keep them quiet, and that's how they kill the dogs.
Leave the treats in, and then
just basically give them the treats so the dogs are distracted by eating.
I like that. And then
just cut right before you see a knife.
I want to cut where if somebody out there could do like special effects, have it so they give the dog a treat and they join the Apaches, and then they have spears in their hands and they help take down the village. I'll watch that movie.
Where the dogs are now on the other side.
Yeah, and they're riding horses. So yes,
Rise of the Planet of the Pups.
I'll do it. But yes, I give Shalako a shallow 6.
A shallow 6. Well, I give it a shallow 7.
Ooh.
Though I was debating for a second. I'm like, should I go to 6.5? But you know what? I'm sticking with 7 because I liked it. The plot is good.
Yeah.
It's a good plot. It's a better version of Action of the Tiger.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is
get a group of people out through a dangerous stretch of land.
Yeah. So yeah, it's again no issue again with that. There's a couple of things where I'm like, something's not memorable, and the dogs. So that was my main thing. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So I guess let's move on to our
Sean rating.
Sean rating.
You go first for this one.
Really liked Sean in this. I think he looks good. I think he gave a hell of a performance. Not phoning it in at all. Did not know what to expect from when you tell me Sean Connery in a Western. If you told me this like 2 years ago, I would have never believed you that this was a thing. So I was really impressed with his performance. I thought he did a fine job. I was super into it. I liked him in this movie. That's the one thing. I liked him in this film. We didn't like him in the last one. So I really liked him in this. And
oh wait, Cuba? I liked him in Cuba. We gave him a 9.
I'm sorry.
We both gave him a 9.
Cuba was the last one. The one before we hated him in. Sorry.
Action of the Tiger.
Action of the Tiger. Yeah. Sorry.
Cuba was really good.
I
gave Cuba a 6.5. You gave it a 7.5, but we both gave him a 9.
Yeah, he was still fantastic in that. So sorry, Sean up there.
okay.
We loved
It's
you in
okay.
Cuba. I promise. He's like, oh yes, thank you.
Robert Davis. That's the old
Robert
Dave trick. We
Dapes.
forget that we enjoyed it.
The old Dave trick. He tricked us into not liking him. So I'm gonna give him hit him with an 8.
I am going to agree. I'm giving him an 8 as well.
Hell yeah.
He is good in this role. He's committed to it. He seems a little tired after Bond, but it's like he is very energized. He's just he's on the bottom end of a re-energizing mountain. You know what I mean?
We mentioned earlier, this is his first one out of Bond. He's scruffy. He doesn't have to sit in a tuxedo all day, and I think it's a little more refreshing because there's no film in between, right? Is there a film in between his never?
Well, I was about to say,
Live Twice.
It's You Only Live Twice, and then he directs The Bowler and the Bonnet,
right?
And then we have Shalako, The Red Tent, The Molly Maguires, The Anderson Tapes, and then Diamonds Are Forever. So 4 movies in between that.
All right. But this is his first one out of Bond.
Post-Bond.
And because he has no idea about diamonds yet. Lazenby is Bond at this point, and this is kind of fresh out of the suit for now. I thought it was good, refreshing for him. And gets an 8 from me, and
8 from me.
Love it.
Should we do 30 seconds of Connery?
Yes.
Or 30 seconds of where we just, give 30 seconds uninterrupted on the film as a whole and our experience as a whole and how it matches up with everything.
All right,
And experience thus far.
Yeah, sure, you go first.
We did it last time.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe if it doesn't seem like something we should continue, but let's give it another go.
Let's try
Maybe
it.
If
Let's try it.
Yeah.
You go first.
All right. 30 seconds begins now. I really liked this movie. It was not the best Western I've seen. It's not the best Western hotel, but it was quite a fun and enjoyable viewing experience. I did have to watch it in 2 halves, but I will watch it again in the future, and I will recommend it as a quality Western with a really good, straightforward plot where characters you love to hate become characters that you sort of love. And that's 30 seconds for me. Shalako, I recommend it.
All right.
And I'm going to give you 30 seconds begins now.
Who knew a Scottish man could be a cowboy? I thought this was very surprising for Sean Connery. For me, I love seeing him do different stuff, and this is very different in my eyes. Really enjoyed this. I would love to see more. I hope there's more Westerns in the future that are in this list of Connery films, and it was a total blast. Thank you, Mr. Connery, for this great Western.
I dig it. You seem to be ending with about 4 or 5 seconds extra each time.
Oh, do I?
So feel free to throw an extra thought into it next time.
All right.
Alrighty. So 30 seconds of Connery. We did Are the S's H'd? We did that. We did Kennet 007.
Yes.
What was your favorite Connery quote from this? Sean Shesh Connery quote.
Oh, I know. I gotta know. I'm going to paraphrase, but when they're on the hill, I think it's him and the Baron. What's his name? Frederick Hallstatt. And they ask, what do you think they're doing down there? And then Sean goes,
yes.
Thinking about what we're doing up here.
We're doing up here. That was good.
That's my favorite quote.
I really liked that.
Yeah.
My favorite might have been I hope the wine's properly chilled.
That's a good one too. That's a very good one.
That was good because it was all snark. It's like, oh, you rich motherfuckers.
Oh, and I did like the what did he say? When he called him a dumb son of a bitch sitting on a haystack.
Yes.
That's really good too.
We're going to hunt wild sheep in the morning. You dumb son of a
Yeah.
stupid son of a... I forget the exact quote. I'll punch it in.
Baron, I figured you for stubborn, but you're something else. You, sir, are one stupid son of a bitch.
Flawless.
Sean says some schnocky Connery quotes. He's all snark in this movie.
Very.
He's serious, very serious, and intelligent in this movie. I liked that too.
Yeah.
He's very smart. And even Bridgette Bardot says that. She's like, you know a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah.
When he hands, she's like, I'm very thirsty, and he gives her the piece of cactus. He's touched your lips to that. So at first I thought he was going to eat that piece of cactus. Have you ever seen videos where people like eat cactuses and
That's a terrible idea.
I'll send it to you.
Oh my god.
They like buy like home display cactuses, like little, desktop ones.
Well, I guess
but
that's
like really spiky ones, and they eat them.
Oh well, this would be better than you showing me the Black Alien.
Black Alien Project. The Black Alien Project. I showed my coworkers that because because I like having friends.
I think I'd rather watch Sean Connery eat a cactus. Oh, but man, I think it's that time of the show.
I think it is that time. Well, you know what we have to do first before we spin? I have to pull up. Does the dog die?
Oh, yes.
Does the dog die?
Get that ready.
Alrighty. That is ready. All right, so whose turn is it to spin the wheel?
I think it's mine.
It is your turn. Okay, and why is the wheel not loading for me? All right, there we go. All right, can you load it and share your screen?
I'm in.
There we go. Beautiful.
I am in.
All right.
And then it's starting to get smaller. I feel like
Oh boy. Well, we're 7 films in, so that's just under 10%. So we're like 8% of the way through.
Man, it's been a ride so far. Let me double check.
Yes.
I have the. There's a couple of titles that were in there from like previous stuff. I had to like make sure to take out. So I think.
Yeah, I've had to fix that as well. But we'll go through that. If we spin it and it's one we've already seen, we'll just make sure.
Yeah,
to correct
it looks like
in a
it
moment.
looks like it's good. So all right.
Oh boy, what do you think we're gonna get? What do you think we're gonna get?
I think it's time, man. I think it's gonna be a Bond.
Oh,
Cause
you think 007 has triggered
yeah,
it?
this is episode 007, so it would have been more fitting if today was a Bond movie, but like maybe 0017, who knows? But I think
Say again.
maybe
0017.
0017 will get one.
Maybe the fact that we've done 007 now, it's calling it forth from the universe.
All right, man, let's do
All
it.
right, here we go. Turn your volume up so we catch that.
All right, I'll put my desktop
that
audio
audio
for a
there.
second. So hold on, one moment. Hold on.
Oh yeah, desktop audio.
Hold
yes.
on.
We were talking about that earlier.
All right, the whole.
Oh, here we go.
All right, ready?
I'm so excited. Yes, here we go.
Wheel of
Curiosities. That one was depressing. A Good Man in Africa.
All right, not a Bond.
All right, let's see. A Good Man in Africa from 1994, directed by Bruce Beresford, and Sean Connery plays Dr. Alex Murray. A 1994 comedy drama film based on William Boyd's 1981 novel, A Good Man in Africa. Now let's do the Does the Dog Die real quick.
That's good. Our first comedy.
A Good Man in Africa. Does the dog die? It doesn't look like anyone's answered that.
So probably not.
Nobody's answered any of the questions. So,
Safe to say, probably not.
yeah.
Especially if it's a comedy drama.
Yeah, I'm guessing the dog doesn't die. If there's even a dog in it. All right, so our next film is 1994's comedy drama, A Good Man in Africa.
Oh, so Sean Connery, John Lithgow, and Diana Rigg. Diana Rigg's in this.
Oh, wow, Diana Rigg.
Look at that.
Oh, wow. So this, okay, so we just went from a film that was being made at a time when Connery would have been acting with Diana Rigg.
Yep.
Right? 1968, Majesty's was being shot. And now we cut to a film where Connery is acting with Diana Rigg.
It's exciting.
That is very exciting. And where are let's look on our list. A Good Man in Africa. We're gonna have to rent that, I think. We'll rent a nice HD copy of it.
Yep. Yeah. So for folks at home, so Prime Video is probably your best option if you guys want to watch along with us. Or again, you know, you can always check your local library if you guys want to take a peek there and save a couple dollars. But that's going to be your more direct way of getting this film. Oh hell, who knows? Maybe your parents or your friends have a copy on their shelf that they just said, you know what? I love A Good Man in Africa.
Maybe they were involved in the production.
There you go. So yeah, that's going to be your best way to do it. So be sure to join us next Sunday for our review of A Good Man in Africa. I'm excited about this. Hopefully it's looking. Let's see, like reviews are kind of there's some good reviews. All in all, it seems like a 5, but can't be that terrible.
So this is our first song. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. First song. Excuse me. Also, I just noticed it's 94 minutes and it came out in 1994. But this is our first film from the song.
That's right.
Zardoz, Last Crusade, You Only Live Twice in the Anderson Tapes, Murder on the Orient Express, You Never Know What the Wheel's Gonna Spin Next, Marnie and a Woman of Straw, I Know a Good Man in Africa.
Man.
This is our first one from the list. It's the last one on the list, on the song list, and this is our first one from the song. Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's like it's a quintessential Connery Curious episode coming up.
And for reference, when I wrote that song, I was literally just picking random ones off a list, and I just picked out one which rhymed with the one before it.
A lyrical genius.
Oh, thank you. And fish sticks are breaded and fried.
But all right, curious heads. Thank you guys for joining us for this, man. This is super exciting. So be sure, again, A Good Man in Africa, and join A Good Man here in Dylan, Titus, and myself.
Dude, I was about to say, you're such a good man. This has been a blast doing this every week, dude.
Hell yeah.
As I've said before, this has been the light of my week a lot of times, and I don't know why I let my negative brain get to me so much this morning, and I'm really glad that I changed my mind real quick and go, no, we're doing Connery Curious tonight.
Yeah, gotta do it for Sean,
because Mario always finds a way to make me smile. So,
oh shucks,
and he serenaded me at the start of this episode, folks. And go back and listen to that again, and then just listen to the whole episode again and give us more streams. But this has been a blast, dude, and I look forward to it every week. And I'm excited for A Good Man in Africa. I have no idea what to expect from this.
The
Wikipedia page is a one small paragraph with like 4 sentences, literally 4 sentences.
Really?
So.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not even going to read it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a title of all the titles that we've looked at. It's one that I've heard before. So it's like, it can't be
in the song every week.
Well, that too. But yeah, just kind of like, it's in that kind of same breath as like The Rock and stuff like that, where it's like, so like, I'm sure it's like, it's known.
Wait, you've heard this in the same conversational breath as The Rock?
Yeah, I've seen it in different credits. I've seen clips. I think this is in his. He did like I think it's a Lifetime Achievement Award or something like that, and this was in his like sizzle reel. And like that's one and the films that we've seen so far, besides like First Night, I've seen in that same sizzle reel. So interesting. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Excited for it, man. So I guess that's going to do it for us here at Connery Curious. Thanks again for joining us. So join us next week for Good Man Africa.
I can't wait.
It's going to be a blast. So as always, I've been Mario Lima.
And I'm Dylan Titus.
And be sure to stay curious.
Stay curious, folks. Have a good night.
Good evening. You've been listening to Connery Curious, a Titus Compositions and Friggin' Nerds media production. For more content, be sure to follow us on various forms of social media by searching Connery Curious. Be sure to rate and review the show wherever fine podcasts are downloaded.